Wow, somebody's hangry. Needs a Snickers. And a Kleenex. So welcome to the latest episode of From the Rubble, my post-apocalyptic Let's Play in heavily modded Minecraft. And what I'm doing here is I'm just getting some stuff out of my inventory to help bolster my, well, ultimately my production of light gray concrete, which will be the primary building material here. But there's a lot going on here. I think I'll take some of this gravel at some point. Let it build up. Oh, so we're maxed out already as far as what we can put in the drawer, but the drawer can be upgraded to hold a whole lot more, so we'll go ahead and do that. Dude, you really need a glass of water or something. But let's put this back in there. So let's kind of figure out what we're doing today. Today we'll go ahead and upgrade that storage drawer so it'll hold a whole lot more cobblestone. We want to actually start working toward enchantments. Now, that's a trick here, because in the other series, you know, we have the enchanting infusers, and and that allows me to take the random grunt work. Oh, good, it's not broken. Random grunt work out of enchanting, but we have that mod loaded in this world. The problem is that it requires crying obsidian. Crying obsidian usually we get from broken nether portals, and those are going to be I haven't found one yet here, and they are very few and far between in this world, because all structures are few and far between in this world. So we're gonna, for a while, do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to, there we go, 45, and give me 15, oh boy, there we go. Won't be quite enough. I'll get, what, 13, 12, okay. So I need wood for 3 more. So we gotta chop a tree too, but, I guess I'm gonna have to make an anvil at some point as well. Anyway, we want to make the use of these experience levels while we have them as well. Because, you know, I could die and lose them all, and what's the point then? I need obsidian and diamonds and a book. I barely have the diamonds. Yep. Got books galore. I don't know if I have obsidian. I don't remember getting it. In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't. But let's go get that wood. And that sky seems awfully empty. It is empty. I could have swore I had been running hyper-realistic sky for a long time. And then it took me a long time to remember to get rid of it, because it requires celestial now. And then I switched. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's working again. Then I switched to dramatic skies, which was my original skybox candy, and I was pretty happy with it. But I guess when I'm underground, it has a different sky up, and it just takes a moment to swap them out. I am really happy with, I was really happy with both. Hyper Realistic Skies has the features I want, but it's a little quirky in its behavior. Plus now they switched it to requiring celestial, but I switched back to Dramatic Skies just to take out the quirkiness, right? And the only thing that I have I even remotely dislike about Dramatic Skies, and it's the fact that when it rains, no matter what rain or snow, it shows a tornado on the horizon. Right now, if it's storming, if there's a thunderstorm, by all means show me a tornado. But if I've just got light rain, or I'm in the middle of a snowstorm, or even a light snowfall, I don't want to see a tornado. Right? But that's the only negative thing I have to say about it. So anyway, busy. So much to do. If you're watching this, then you may have already heard that that I have retired our Endless Horizon series, and I've had some people reach out to me already about that, and it kind of boils down to this, right? I don't want to give the impression that I didn't have any fun with Raft or that series, but it wasn't a lot of fun. Certainly not as much fun as I have with the other series. And in the end, I think the thing that really killed it for me is that in recent weeks and months, even aside from what I'm doing for the channel, I've been playing a lot of games that have a lot of building, a lot of variation in building, and they had stuff other than building, but the building is what I was there for. I was having a lot of fun, and when it came right down, it showed me just how much fun I could have. And then when I went to sit down to record Raft, it's just like, I couldn't do it. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. So no point forcing it. So I had to retire it. Not saying I probably will never finish the series or do another series on Raft on the channel, but I may return to my saved game and continue from where I left off, try to see if I can get further. But anyway, with that said, I've got three new potential series that I'm weighing at the moment, and all of them have they're builders, or they have a heavy building element, and that would be Cubic Odyssey, which is a love child between Minecraft and No Man's Sky. There's Enshrouded, which is marketed as an RPG, but it's it's got a dash of Valheim and a dash of Diablo 4, and and a couple other games mixed in. It's kind of an RPG and kind of a builder and kind of an action game, and anyhow, but the building element is a lot of fun there. And the way I was playing it solo is that for me it's a building game with every once in a while I have to go on resource runs, which are disguised as actually completing quests. So there's that one. And then there's Parkitect, which I've always loved the amusement park builders and simulators. And in recent years, out of the ones I play, Parkitect's probably the newest. It's either Parkitect or Coaster, Planet Coaster. But I just dig Parkitect. So a completely mellow builder with a lot of fun. And anyhow, so those are the three series I'm thinking about, and we'll see how things go a little closer to the date. So I'll still have 6 Let's Play series. It's just at the moment only 5 are still active, and I haven't figured out what number 6 is. But I also want to reach out and say thank you to anybody watching this that was part of the support and response that I got for Endless Horizon. I didn't get a lot, but the people that did comment and interact with me, it was heartfelt. It was a lot of times it was commiserating, and I truly appreciate that. So thank you. In fact, thank you to all my viewers. If you're watching this, you're one of them. For watching. Double and triple thank yous for liking, subscribing, and leaving comments. All of those are fantastic. And of course, if you leave comments, any comment is very welcome. But the comments I enjoy most are the people who ask questions, who have things that they heard something that, some story I told or something I did, and they've got their own story to tell. Share with the class. I think that's fantastic. It's one of the reasons I like traveling, is I like meeting new people and hearing their stories and seeing life through their eyes. So by all means, share. Anyway, so these templates are the templates that you can use to make a number of different upgrades for storage drawers. And the ones that I just made, these 6, these basically each one will dramatically upgrade how many stacks. There we go again. It's not there. How long does it take to come back? Apparently longer than I'm willing to wait, but I would have thought it was a little... There we go. Here it comes. Kind of fading in. He's a nice guy. Anyhow, each of these upgrades will dramatically increase the number of stacks that this storage drawer will hold. So there we go. Stack limit is a bunch, right? 192 times the original stack limit, which for all intents and purposes is more cobblestone than I will probably ever need. And we'll fill it because we've got this 24/7 cobblestone production going. Throw this in here. We'll want some sand at some point. I don't want to carry that around. And I think it's time to go get obsidian. Now we know where lava is because when we were making our cobblestone generator, we had to get some lava for that. And I only took one bucket. So there should be plenty of lava there still that we can change into obsidian. And it is a beautiful day flying. Now, you know, this kind of hazy, misty sunlight. This is, I know, it's weird, right? To be nostalgic about smog. But I am, right? Growing up in Southern California, especially near LA in the 70s, you know, this is just childhood memories of a sunny day. They look like this. Sometimes a little worse, sometimes a little more, usually a little more brown, but yeah. The other place I get this misty quality of light is on the beaches, on the shore, especially when you can see a long way. So like if you go between San Diego and LA, those beaches, Del Mar, Carlsbad, that if you're on the beach, you can actually look down the beach for miles and miles and miles, and off in the distance you can see like seaside cliffs, and you get the same type of light quality. I've always enjoyed that. It's just on an afternoon, Sunday afternoon, cold, hazy. Like, who was making all this noise? I just need some water. Oh, somebody's behind me. Somebody's behind me. A zombie wearing a ski mask. Okay. I guess he's trying to hide the fact that he's going to pull a caper. Doesn't want anyone to identify him as... Yeah, it was that zombie right there. That guy. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Punishment has been administered. I don't want to turn the whole lava pool into obsidian. I may still need lava at some point. But this will get me the 4 I need. I thought something was pushing me. And it was. It just this rat from the New Moose settlements. Okay. 1. And 2. Ah, I see a spider out there. Okay. Yeah, I would dearly love some enchantments on this pick, boy. Okay. Now who? Who? Oh, here he comes. At least he had the common sense not to wear a ski mask. Yeah. There you go. Lie down. You're dead. Again. Do you really kill zombies? Right? Because, I mean, to kill something, you make it dead. But if it's not living, technically it's dead. And undead isn't really a state, right? You're either alive or you're dead. Okay. Where did I leave my chopper? Oh, there it is. I see the propeller. Let's knock the weeds out of my cockpit here, and we can fly back home. Try not to burn myself on the way. Lots of flowers, lots of green space here. This would have been a great place to build a base as well, away from all the devastation, because you have plenty of open land, arable land that we could be growing tons and tons of crops. But you don't have that, I mean, I've essentially got an awesome moat, right? I've got a whole lake to act as my moat. Incidentally, you know, speaking of moats, I've been to a number of castles in mostly England and Wales, and a few in Germany. And out of all of those, very few of them actually had moats. I mean, okay, that was brief. Very few of them had moats. Now, if we were to talk about like the stereotypical castle, I'm pretty sure everybody would identify a castle with a flooded moat and a drawbridge. And I've been to a few that had drawbridges, but they just didn't have moats. Now, with all that being said, Carefully Castle, not carefully as in, you know, doing something with care, but Carefully Castle, in Wales, essentially has a lake as a moat. And that is a really impressive sight. And you know, when we were there visiting it, I tried to put myself in the shoes of an invader, right? Here we are, we're going to go against this castle. How are we going to take it? And I'm looking, and you know, you've got 100 yards of open water you got to get across, and you're not going to be, you know, crossing that water in your bathing trunks. You're going to try to have armor and stuff on, and I'm pretty sure the water's deep enough that you're not going to want to tread water. Otherwise you're going to drown in all that heavy gear. So in the end, you know, you're either going to have to make a bunch of rafts, or you're going to need siege engines that can launch stuff over the water and high enough so that you can actually hit targets over the wall or on the wall. I mean, it's an awesome castle. I don't know if it was ever taken. I wouldn't want to try. Okay, this cabinet we can use in with our enchantment table, because we're gonna need a place to hold books and lapis and magic enchanted books, right? A lot of stuff going on there. You don't realize how much you miss that enchantment infuser until you don't have access to it. And you're not likely to have access to it for a long time. I have toyed with the idea of adding a recipe to create crying obsidian, and I haven't ruled that out, but you know what I forgot? If I'm going to do a bunch of enchanting, I got the lapis, but I need books, right? Because to do this efficiently, I'm going to need a bunch of books. Because, you know, we're back in Vanilla Enchanting, and in Vanilla Enchanting, it's all about random luck, right? So, if I put a book in there, if it doesn't give me the enchantment I want, then I put a piece of gear in there, it'll give me a different one, probably. And so on and so on. So let's see. Let's see. So we can put down the enchantment table. And enchanting power is 15, so it's maxed out. Good. Let's put the cabinet over here. If I don't plan for this to be outside for very long, which is good because that book's going to get soaked and ruined in the rain. But I do, if I'm not, I want to move it underground at some point. I'm just not ready yet. But if at some point that looks like it might be a bit longer, then I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. Huh. Well, sharpness 2 for the win. Thank you. Anyway, I might build a little shelter over this enchanting table, but we'll see. Sharpness. So yeah, we'll take the efficiency 1. We'll save that, and at some point we can use another efficiency 1 to get us an efficiency 2. I think I'm going to need to make an anvil as well. Let's go ahead and empty my pockets for a second so I have room, and I can take my my gear off and put an enchantment on each of those. My vault suit looks like pajamas. Let's see. So, oh, Insight 2. Insight 2, that works. That'll help me collect experience faster. Protection, fire, yeah, just protection 1, that'll do. What we got? Blast protection, soulbound. Oh, soulbound's a useful one there. Blast, unbreaking, or soulbound. Unbreaking is the one there. Now with the default rules for enchanting, I won't get mending unless I can create a villager librarian And the villager librarian, of course, it's completely random, so I might have to go through a few villager librarians before I get that. So, knockback sharpness 1, there you go. Oh yeah, I forgot. You gotta, to make it efficient, you always want to enchant at level 30 or higher to make sure you have full access to all the choices. Leave all my books here. I don't really need them for anything else at the moment. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need to start actively farming. Now I'm coming down here because I want to use this space to go ahead and convert my concrete powder to actual concrete. And, you know, I would, I could, I guess, go to the effort of making an encased fan, connecting it to the windmill, and then having the encased fan blow through a block of water into stacks of concrete. But and I might do that because I think I'm gonna have to do this quite often, but at the moment I just don't feel like that, going through all that. And I guess you could say this is a concrete example of the type of choices I'm facing nowadays. But yes, so it's light gray concrete is the primary build. Yeah, I got a lot to do with this stuff, but thankfully the guys that chipped, who made the chip mod, they gave me the mason's table, and that in turn has given me a whole bunch of different things I can do with light gray concrete. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Those choices mesh particularly well with a technology-based world like this one is. So that's cool. And I'll talk about some of those blocks when we get to that point. Now what I'd like to do too is get some time digging out the bottom level. Ultimately that will be the level that contains the platforms for our metro system. But it's also the very bottom of the world and this base, and so it is a good place to start for the central shaft, which, if you remember, or if you haven't been here before, the central shaft is going to include our elevator, or possibly elevators, as well as a spiraling ramp, not stairs, but a ramp, down to, well, up and down from the surface to bedrock. And that will give us a couple different things. Eventually, the elevators will allow people, possibly animals, to go up and down the elevators, no problem. Possibly vehicles. Actually, let me stop and think about that, because what I had originally intended was for an elevator, for it to have an elevator for people and animals. And then if you wanted to drive a vehicle down for some reason, then, you know, we would build nice wide ramps that would, you know, spiral around the central elevator shaft. But, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, if I made the door to the elevator wide enough, some vehicles might fit on the elevator. But then again, I don't know. It's going to require some experimentation. So put a pin in it. Put a pin in it. Now, one of the things I've been thinking about is, like I said, the base is going to be light gray concrete. And when we talk about the structure of the levels, the floor, the space that I can move around in on a level is 4 blocks, right? Because it's a modern build, so we don't need really high ceilings or vaulted ceilings or anything like that. So 4 blocks. I'm standing on the floor, so that's a 5th block layer, right? There's a ceiling, standing on the floor, and then there's a ceiling, so that's a 6th block. And then between the floor and ceiling of every level, there would be another layer of blocks, which I reserve for things like power distribution, water, stuff like that. And the reason to bring that up is one of the things I was thinking about is incorporating some type of thematic design into the walls, right? Because right now we're looking at 4 blocks high wall, and it's just light gray concrete. But I remember when I was a kid, like at the old Kaiser Permanente hospitals, especially the one in Fontana, they did this thing where they color-coded these stripes on the wall. So in other words, if you're at the lobby, they had these stripes painted on the walls, and the stripes were labeled, right? Like there was, I don't remember what the colors were, what the labels were, but for example, one would be like a red stripe on the wall that say pediatrics, and a blue stripe on the wall that says, you know, optometry or gastroenterology, and you get it, right? There's 4 or 5 colors. And if you follow the walls with that color stripe, you will get to that department. Now, I thought that was, now I think that's a very cool idea, but see, I don't have that type of granularity. I only got 4 blocks to work with, but I do like the idea of color coding floors of the base. So in other words, so there might be I get 16 different colors of concrete, and I'm gonna have close to that in number of levels. So you could, you know, like out of the 4 blocks that comprise the wall, the bottom block and the top 2 blocks could be the light gray concrete, and that second from the bottom could be some other color depending on what level we're in. That way, because the floors will generally all look alike, we want to be able to differentiate them when you're standing on them. Now, if you remember last episode, toward the end, as we were digging this space out, we hit a lava lake at the bottom of the world. And it's still there. It didn't go away as much as I would have hoped it would. So what I want to do is get an exact bead on where it is, and then I think we need to do something about it, because I need to dig out this level, and the lava lake's right there at the corner where I'm going to dig out. So I think I'll need probably displacement, right? Using blocks of How about this one? Whoa, that's it. Oh, that's it. Oh, well, that works even perfectly. So displacement is where we basically use this gravel to displace blocks of lava, liquid hot magma. So here's how this works. And the beauty behind all this is you get your blocks back. I mean, you get your blocks of gravel back. So go over here, and you can see it's displacing gravel, right? I have blocks of gravel where I had blocks of lava. Try to get these ones. Make sure there aren't any other subterranean pockets of lava. Now, for the record, in real life, a cubic meter of gravel is not going to hold back water or lava or pretty much anything. Obviously, Minecraft has some similarities to the real world, and a lot of not so similarities, and that's one of them. I need sticks. Wizard needs sticks badly. Here we go. Whoa, I didn't see that one. Okay. Hope that takes care of all the unannounced lava surprises. Do you remember your first time encountering lava in Minecraft? Gonna set up, you know, my grid is based on chunks, so I want to just see where I am with that. And I'm back. What happened was, for whatever reason, after using F3 to see my chunks, when I turned F3 off, I thought the game crashed. I mean, it just froze, and I thought for sure the game crashed. But then the Mojang loading screen went on, so then I thought it was in the middle of compiling a stack trace for reporting the crash, and I just let it run, and sure enough, it finished whatever it was. Well, I know it was doing. It finished that, and that screen went away, and I was back at the return to game screen. It reloaded all my resource packs for some strange reason. So, don't know why. I won't be using F3 plus G as much as I used to. Oh, this needs a popper pick. Stone one won't do. I got a diamond pick. See? I don't remember what I was talking about before the F3 weirdness. I talked about color coding levels and... oh, I just don't know. I do remember using the color coding when I was playing Empyrean, right, which is a builder that's set in space. It was, their aspirations were kind of along the same lines as No Man's Sky. It's just that No Man's Sky was always light years ahead of them in implementation, and even though Empyrean has come quite a long ways, it's still got a long ways to go to catch up with No Man's Sky. But anyway, I use color coding there, right? So I use red and white on the infirmary, right? The clinic, I guess you can call it. The agricultural levels were kind of a light green. Engineering was kind of a golden, well, more of an orangish yellow. And of course it had all sorts of orangish yellow and black diagonal stripes, right? All sorts of warning areas and labels. You were definitely in an industrial area. Even for the most casual observer, it was clear you were in an industrial area. I mean, aside from all the hazard warnings, the fact that you've got like big tanks and pipes and all sorts of jazz running through it should be a clue that you're not like in, the day room or the bathroom. Well, they got pipes in the bathroom, but not like these. If you have a toilet that flushes and requires a meter wide pipe, woo, you must be eating a lot of fiber. That's all I gotta say. Anyway. No more poo jokes. Stop it. Yeah, well, maybe that's what the world needs, is just a few more poo jokes. Yes, sirree, bobber. We've got a lot going now. A lot of things to do in this world. And never a dull moment. But I'm building. This is getting crowded here. Let's do some inventory management, and then I want to check to see how far I have to go. We're gonna do 4 chunks, 2 by 2 chunks as our excavating. So let's look at that. Well, quite frankly, I'm not quite sure how far along we actually are. I mean, eventually the base will fill up my little lake, and then some. But in the meanwhile, I want to continue using the lake like a moat, because it has proven very useful. I use the same tactic in my vintage story let's play, right? I was lucky and found a big lake with a little island, and I started off on that, and that's proven very effective in that game. But in this one, let's see, we popped that down. So I'm wondering, chunks are 16 by 16. So if we go over here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 5 more runs around the edge, and then that would be the basic footprint for the central shaft for this base. So we're getting there. And then start working our way up. But it is good to be back building. Like I said earlier, right? I sat down to record a new episode of my Raft Let's Play, and I couldn't do it, right? Because it was gonna, I'm having a lot of fun building in these other games. I'm having fun building in this game. That's Worldbuilder, right? That's not World Shark Killer. And I just couldn't do it anymore. Especially because I have been playing these games on the side, and the building aspect of it just brings me so much incredible joy. I mean, there's Cubic Odyssey, which is very Minecraft-esque, and I started. Now it's just been released, right? Just like a month or two ago. It's got some definite rough edges, but and there's a learning curve because there's a wiki, but it's almost empty, and there's not a lot of help in the game. So there was stuff to get used to, and you didn't have any way to look it up to get used to it fast. You had to get used to it by just experimentation and learning what it does or doesn't mean. But that being said, it got to a point where I was really kind of digging, still enjoy, bouncing around between different worlds, seeing the different types of worlds, fighting the red darkness. I know I said before that, I'm not particularly fond of that mechanic, but I'm not as against it as I used to be, because it turns out it's not really spreading. That was my whole thing. Is like, oh, you're asking me to empty the ocean. You give me a thimble or a teaspoon to do it, and the ocean is getting bigger even as we do it. That's not the case. However, it certainly feels that way sometimes. But and you start with trying to figure out. I need to get up there to look at the lava again. I hear it bubbling, and I got a bunch of gravel in my pocket now. So now I can put it to good use by pushing back the lava monster a bit. Try to carve out some stairs here. Anyway, once you get past those hurdles, it is a lot of fun to build, and the red darkness is not as obnoxious as I thought. Doesn't get in the way of the exploration or building as much as I thought. Anyway, so I had a lot of fun, and in fact, like I said, I started with a tiny little base, and it has since grown to where I've essentially co-opted an entire hill. And it doesn't look like so much a base as just because of the world I'm on and how I set things up, and it looks landscaped. It looks like a corporate campus or a university campus, which I can think of worse things to call a base. So that's okay. So I'm that's a lot of fun. Now the Enshrouded is another one that caught me by surprise, right? Because I think I've talked about different game types a lot in this series and all my series, because I get on here and I ramble, and like I am. I'm rambling now, right? And Enshrouded caught me by surprise because you go through your Steam discovery queue, and they show you stuff, right? And they say, hey, look at this, and hey, look at that. And of course, the game manufacturers will set things up to try to emphasize the features that they think are going to hook you. And I'd see those trailers for Enshrouded and stuff. I go, yeah, okay, just pass. It's another computer role-playing game, and I don't really do those anymore. Though that being said, I have seen, I haven't watched, or I hadn't watched, but I had seen a couple of videos talking about, building in Enshrouded, and it's like, okay, whatever. But I have some friends in Ireland. They play. The thing is they're like 8 hours off from me, which normally that sounds like it's a bad thing, but because the hours that I keep and the time that I can play and the time they can play, it actually kind of works out okay. But I wasn't playing with them, right? I was talking to them while they're playing, and when I'm chatting, they're usually playing Grounded, but then they started playing Enshrouded a lot, right? They got another person to join their little group, and so the three of them were playing Enshrouded, and they're telling me about it, and of course they watch my videos, and they're like, oh, you're in the building, you should really check this game out. Yeah, I heard it before. No, check this game out. Okay, let's check this game out. So then you look at the marketing materials, you can see buried in there, you know, they say, oh, this is a great game for building too. And you're like, yeah, sure it is. But I finally bit the bullet. I didn't even wait for it to go on sale, right? It was like $29.99, and I said, okay, I normally wouldn't spend this much on a game, but okay. And I got it. And, you know, it's a new game, plus it's a role-playing game, so you got to get your character squared away. You run around out there in your underwear, and you're not building squat just yet. But in that game, early on, they're like, okay, here's a little area. Why don't you throw down your flame altar and start building a base? Yeah, whatever. And then that's the last thing I remember for about 4 hours, right? Just totally engrossed with their building mechanic. And of course, it just gets better and better, because as you actually play the game, you will unlock different materials, right? So you'll expand your palette. You'll unlock different crafting machines and resources and all sorts of decorative objects. And now we're off to the races, right? It's the type of thing that you want in a building game. And like I said, I made a joke I think I made the same joke here, which is, to me, Enshrouded is a building game, and all the other stuff is disguised as an RPG, but it's other stuff you do so that you can build more and better stuff. That's what it is. So with that said, I've spent a lot of time there, and I've really enjoyed it. And then Parkitect, right? Now, if you like me enjoy those amusement park type builders, then you're pretty familiar with all the different names and stuff. And, you know, Roller Coaster Tycoon and its sequels, that was like the backbone. It was like the Sim City of roller coaster sims, right? The original and the best for a long time. But Roller Coaster Tycoon as a franchise is kind of like just stopped. And in its space, Planet Coaster came up, and that's pretty good. I actually enjoy that one a lot. But Planet Coaster is kind of like a first-person view, right? And there, that does appeal to me. I mean, but for whatever reason, and I suppose maybe it's nostalgia or whatever, the isometric 2.5D view that you get with Parkitect, which is for all intents and purposes like a spiritual successor to the original Roller Coaster 1 and 2, Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2. That's the one where I just wound up spending more time. I mean, like I said, I enjoy Planet Coaster, but Parkitect just has me hooked more. So, and I guess it was like in April or May this year, I had gotten this new machine back at the beginning of the year, and I was just going through my Steam library. I was looking for something to decompress, right? To get my Zen on. And I was looking through my Steam library, which is huge, and most of them I haven't touched, much less played. So I found Parkitect, and I'm like, man, I haven't done this in a long time. And I looked. I installed it, and I got the DLC. It was on sale. And I started playing through the campaign. In fact, I reset the campaign. So I knocked out all my progress I had before. And I just started playing it. And I couldn't believe how much fun I was having. And the problem with Parkitect is that... well, first of all, it has a sandbox mode, and it has like the campaign mode. In the campaign mode, they have a bunch of scenarios, and you got to work through them. And then when you work through a scenario, it unlocks more maps that you can play in sandbox mode. And sandbox mode can be, you can use it like creative, you can turn off money and just build, or you can use it like a sandbox, which is, you know, all the rules are in place. I just don't have any specific objectives. I'm just free to build. And there's where it is, right? So you run the campaign mode, and to finish a given scenario, you have to do certain things in a certain time limit. And if you do it, it then says, hey, you can now play this game in sandbox mode. So it's added to your list. You can just kick off a new game, and then it unlocks the next one in the series. I can't make stairs here, and I need to get rid of this gravel. But the thing is, and a lot of times, once I complete, I need more gravel. Once I complete a level as part of the campaign mode, you know, now it puts me in the sandbox mode if I want, and I can continue building on the same map that I've been working on all along. And I like that, because usually, you know, for some people, if you're a completionist, and my friend Eric was like this, when it comes to something like this campaign mode, I got an invisible cobalt. You know, you just want to get through the scenario as fast as possible, right? And then press on to the next one. And so, you know, put it, you know, get it done, check mark, move on to the next one. I'm not that way. So, and though I definitely want to complete the scenarios so I can unlock the next scenario, I don't necessarily want to just do it, right? That's not my focus. My focus is also having fun and doing it my way, right? And so by the time I finish the scenario, what I find is that, like, I'm on a roll. I've got my theming set up. I have the park layout is all laid out. And by the time I clear the scenario goals, my park is 2/3 to halfway finished, right? And it's like, I want to finish it. I want to complete this vision, or at least rework it a bit now that I have access to sandbox mode. And I think that would make an interesting series as well, right? Because one of the pieces of feedback I get is that, you know, this isn't a high energy channel. And even though I didn't set out for this to be a cozy channel, it is a cozy channel. You know, people, this is a channel. I come here to do this stuff to relax, and it turns out that a lot of you come here to watch this stuff to relax. And in fact, some people have said, you know, they were watching a video and they fell asleep, and then they had to watch it again, you know, because they missed a bunch when they were sleeping. And I know a lot of people might be upset to be told that you put them to sleep, but I'm not. That's cool. If, you know, if the thing is if I can help you relax, and you don't mind relaxing like that to the point where you go to sleep, works for me. If it works for you, what's the problem, right? This is a pretty crazy world we live in. And, you know, look at my user demographics. Some of you are too young to work, so I get that. But most of you have jobs now, and you're out there slugging away 8 or more hours a day, 40 or more hours a week. And if you're watching my channel, I think you deserve a break, right? I think that's why you're here. So let's just keep it mellow. Don't claim to be anything otherwise, except the occasional bad dad joke. But, well, in my opinion, there is no such thing as a bad dad joke. And for some people, there's nothing but bad dad jokes. But, oh, anyway. Yeah. truthfully, I don't know what type of person I would have been if it hadn't been for computer games. I used to read a lot. I used in later years I read, quote unquote read, using audiobooks, but I spent a lot of time in the car, so aside from keeping on the road and not crashing into stuff, there wasn't much going on. So audiobooks are perfect. But right now I find that a lot of my more traditional audiobook time or opportunities, where's the ladder? I mean, here's the ladder, but couldn't it's going up the wrong side of the ladder. A lot of the time I would normally spend listening to audiobooks, I now actually watch YouTube videos. But and there's a shortage of Let's Plays. I mean, when I say that, you can do a search and you find there's thousands of them. But there's a lot of people that start Let's Plays as a channel and then they just die out, which is too bad, because I found some really great creators who I love their stuff, but after a few months or a year or less, they just seem to have walked away from the platform, right? Kind of like, hey, I'll see you next week, and then that's the last you ever hear of them. That's too bad. I like their stuff. And of course, there are a lot of Let's Plays out there that they're not my cup of tea, right? Not my style or preferred style. But there's still plenty of other stuff on YouTube that gets my interest too. Of course, YouTube goes out of their way to try to recommend stuff, which kind of sends you down this rabbit hole where you spend more time on the channel than you intended or wanted, which is by design, right? I mean, and to be brutally honest, if you find yourself in that situation, then the algorithm is doing exactly what the algorithm is designed to do, and doing it successfully. So let's just clean my pockets again. I will once we can get the central core filled up to the level where our storage level will be, then just like the other series, I will spend some time concentrating on getting storage implemented. Now, in New Millennium, our storage solution is basically storage drawers. I'm looking at integrating it with Create, now that Create has this whole logistics network thing. But and in Greifenhorst, storage drawers is augmented with Ars Nouveau, which gives me this great integrated storage solution. I mean, it's not a good solution for New Millennium, but it's a fantastic thematic solution for a magic wielding world. And in this world, we use refined storage to pretty much get us the same way. Let's take care of the garden here. Get us back above level 30, so that we can maximize our enchanting opportunities. So it'll be nice to get that going in this world. And I really need to update my design documents, my plans for the bases. I think I would like to do that as part of a kind of an ad hoc live stream, but with our recent trip to British Columbia, I'm back behind schedule again. So I got to catch back up. Right now, I try to do one video per weekday. It doesn't always work out because, got family and stuff, and that complicates things. But it is generally working out. So I should get caught up here fairly quickly. I should be caught up again by the end of this week, I hope. thunder. Okay, so some of this corn's ready. Not that one. I got it anyway. And we got some seeds out of it. That is what corn is. We eat the seeds. But again, they're going to give me ears of corn and then separate corn kernels. That is quite the storm. Okay, now you can put the... now you can throw up a tornado in the background. And just for the record, that tornado supplied by Dramatic Skies. It's... man, you guys need to take better care of your voices. It's just a background. You can never get to it. It'll never get to you. It's a nice touch, but like I said, you don't want a tornado in the background when you have a little light rain pitter patter or silent snowflakes laying the world in a blanket of quiet. Oh, that sounded bad. Might need to go check himself after that. Let's see. Yeah. Radishes. Radishes can be hot. I find most of the time they're not hot, but every once in a while you get a hot radish. I'm not real fond of radishes overall, and in the U.S., you can find them in every grocery store, but it's never a huge selection because I think in the U.S. in general, we've kind of, except for potatoes, we've just kind of naturally moved away from root vegetables. I mean, you know, back in the day, turnips, beets, parsnips, carrots. Yeah, we're still pretty keen on carrots, but Americans, because they brought their old world cuisines with them, and in Europe, you know, there's a lot of beets, there's a lot of parsnips, turnips, carrots, radishes, but in America, we still have those things. But they're a lot less common in what we eat every day than they might be in other countries. I remember, I think it was, I don't think it was Gilded Age, but it was some type of show about that similar time frame. And rich people were like talking down about people who ate root vegetables, right? Like it's, well, that's poor people food. And it's like, oh. And so maybe, I mean, that was a show. We don't know if it was true or not, but maybe there's some truth to that, right? Maybe as in America, in the United States, we don't eat as many root vegetables because that at some point was considered what poor people ate, right? It's just like, a lot of cuisines, even German cuisines, eat a lot less meat than we do in the U.S. And I think science has proven that that's pretty healthy, actually. But I think it's not because in the 1880s we were making conscious decisions about cholesterol and red meat. I think it's just a matter of, meat was always on the menu wherever you were at. Maybe not so much India, but meat is kind of a luxury, kind of expensive, right? So a lot of people didn't have the opportunity to eat meat every day. Certainly not every day, maybe not even every week, right? And then once the United States got established and got going, even poor people, I wouldn't say homeless, but the working poor, they had access to meat every day. So our American cuisine, I guess you can call it, is pretty heavy on the whole meat and potatoes type thing. especially compared to other countries. So. And that gets us into trouble. Turns out it's not great for the environment either, so. Concert. Oh, this tea's done. So I got 8 and tea leaves, and I got 13 tea blossoms. So that's 5 extras. That's pretty good. Beets are still working on it, but hops are done. I'm not getting experience for knocking them down. I think I could pick the hops without knocking down the whole plant, and since man, that's loud. Since there's not much, there's no experience to be gained by knocking it all the way down. Next time we'll just try picking some of the hops. Though I've tried that in the past. When you plant them close together like that, it's hard to. Thermal series won't let me pick tomatoes and leave the plant. It's hard to pick hops when they're all locked in like that, close together. You need better access to the side. So if we switch to the hoe, now we can pick our grapes without killing the plants. I think it's a grape solution. Oh gosh. I mean, this is part of the Let's Do Vinery mod, and I get it. They they give you all these different grapes for different types of wine, but I'm a big fan of table grapes, and of course with grapes, like with other berries, you got jams, jellies, juice. I'm really kind of making myself hungry thinking about that, but it's true. Grapes are awesome. Oh, I was looking. I didn't realize time has come and gone, so let's finish this up, and I guess we'll call it a day. So this is flax from the thermal series. Doesn't give me any straw, but it did give me plenty of flax, which we can use to make string, which we can use to make wool. So that's useful. I have quite a bit of wool considering I haven't killed or sheared any sheep, so that's how we did it. Also with the flax from the supplementaries mod. And there's the flax from supplementaries mod, and here's pumpkins. I mean, it's still early spring, so it's not exactly pumpkin weather. This pumpkins are taking a long time to grow, but it's okay. Oops. Yeah. There's something satisfying about harvesting in Minecraft. Again, it's a kind of I don't know, it just has, it sounds right, feels right, just something relaxing about it. I mean, there's different ways to achieve that. I mean, one of the things I liked about Diablo 4, it's pretty mindless. You just go in there and run around and just lay waste to everything without a whole lot of thought about what you're doing or why you're doing it. And though that sounds like a negative review, it's incredibly relaxing, right? I mean, I think my biggest gripe with Diablo 4 wasn't the gameplay itself, but rather, you know, how Blizzard tries to monetize the whole thing by offering, you know, seasons where they change things up and you gotta keep your subscription going. And yeah, that's the thing that eventually drove me away from it. I don't like supporting it. I didn't mind having a membership from MMO, but even then, the MMOs now are figuring out ways to get more money from you, and a subscription's not enough. And it's like, come on, man. I mean, if you gave me something that was just head and shoulders hyper awesome, right? How's the meme go? Just take my money, shut up and take my money. But I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. And these little incremental things, custom skins and what have you. Whatever. I could use that $2 or $10 or $20 now. A lot more than some executive who already has 3 McMansions and is looking for a 4th. That's the other thing too. It's kind of funny. I watch videos about the game industry, and they talk about, you know, monetization strategies and these microtransactions. But, you know, they're not really microtransactions anymore, right? It used to be that when we said microtransaction, it was, you know, 50 cents, 20 cents, $1. Yeah, those are microtransactions. But when you're buying a skin for 10 or 20 bucks, you know, 20 bucks with a little careful budgeting, that can give me 2 lunches or 1 lunch at a normal rate. That's not micro. There's nothing micro about that transaction. I guess Riot Games kind of took it to an extreme where, you know, they have really crazy expensive super premium skins. Okay, I mean, you can do what you want. You know, the classic business models, right, is either you sell a product to everybody for $1 a pop. You know, you sell like sell a product to 1 million people for $1 a pop and make $1 million bucks, or you can sell some very exclusive item to a rich person for $1 million bucks. You know, you only need one, and that sounds like it's not workable, but it's been over 100 years, and Rolls-Royce is still in business. That's their model, right? They don't even have assembly lines. I think I heard one of the reasons Rolls-Royces are so expensive is they're each one basically custom crafted by hand. So, you know, crazy expensive automobiles for the crazy rich. Well, you know, they're not out there selling tens of thousands or millions of Rolls Royces every year, and they're still in business. And I know this sounds weird, but there's actually a Rolls Royce dealership in Bellevue, Washington. It's right across from the Lamborghini and the Ferrari dealerships, not surprisingly. And it's been there for years, right? So they're apparently making enough money to pay their rent. Though it's interesting because I've seen a handful of Rolls Royces over the past 20 years driving the road. I mean, because, you know, don't forget, we've got, in my neck of the woods, you've got the Microsofties and the Google and Facebook, Meta. I mean, everybody's up here. So there are definitely people in this neighborhood, well, not my neighborhood, but in this neck of the woods that can afford those kind of crazy cars, but not me. We just traded in our 10-year-old Ford Explorer for a brand new Ford Explorer. So, yep. Eric, my friend, had a Beamer, and I remember one time they went on a trip, and so they had me house it because they needed the cat fed and the plants watered. And while he was gone, he let me drive his Beamer, And that was nice. I gotta tell you, driving a Beamer is nice. Though it's interesting, people look at you different when you drive a Beamer, right? People who would, you know, I just remembered. I need to find, I have an empty field up there that I'm not growing anything on, and yeah, salmon berries, that'll work. Anyway, you drive a Beamer, you know, I drive around all the time and nobody gives me, you know, any extra attention. But when I'm driving the Beamer, you know, people were looking at me and kind of giving me a nod, and some women were giving me the eye, and it was like, whoa, you know, I guess this is why people drive Beamers and Mercedes and stuff. It's not, you could make the argument that it's, you know, superior German craftsmanship, and I that does appeal to me, but not at that price. But really, it's just, it's not what you drive, but the fact that you drive it, right? So that's not my vibe. That's not me. But anyway, enough about that. This has been a productive episode. I got a lot done, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now we're finally getting a point where we're primed for success. So I hope you return for the next episode to see how we proceed from here. But until that time, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. Cheers.